Hey Digidestined, it's Ty from Digimon. Make sure you subscribe to Dimsy's domain for the best Digimon content.
Splashman makes a splash, Calamarimon causes havoc, Metalgreymon's new form, and the return of Algomon. These are the headlines coming out of this week's episode of Digimon titled The Tide Turning Update. So let's look at the good, the bad, and the straight up ugly from this week's episode of Digimon Adventure 2020. And guys, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with our content. The Kizuna review is looking to be a really long video, close to an hour long for your entertainment. So hit the subscribe button to notify yourself when that video is released. And guys, that video will be released very soon, so please hit that notification bell as well. But now on to the review. And let's start off with the good, and I'm gonna say it again guys, it was another solid episode of Digimon, so there won't be any bad or ugly points in this episode. I really enjoyed this episode, so let's go into detail with all the good in this episode. Skullknightmon was a beast, casually deflecting all the attacks coming his way, but Matt, TK and Tai and Agumon are chasing him on Garurumon's back. Whilst they're closing in on their destination, TK was about to tell Matt something, but Matt stops him, saying we will talk later. This was good of Matt. He can see TK is in discomfort and is probably still in deep shock with all the events happening around him, so it's best to keep all of that to the side for now and focus on the mission when everything is said and done, then start telling everything and opening up to Matt. I love it whenever Matt shows his loving and caring side to TK, because Matt usually never shows his compassion or that he cares about the other characters. We in the audience know that he cares about the others, but he never shows it to the other characters. That's why Sora was suspicious of him when the teams got split up early on in the season. So him showing that side to him, to another character instead of hiding it, is always nice to see. It gives that warm feeling through the screen to us as well, showing how much he cares about his younger brother. They arrive at a tower surrounded by the dark miasma. TK finds a feather on the floor belonging to one of the holy angel Digimon. Tai thinks this is the place that Ogremon is talking about. I'm not too sure. I think the place Ogremon was talking about just before he died was Devimon's castle. But let's see what happens. Devimon points his fingers upwards and we see Splashman appear from the dark miasma. Tai says that the dark miasma became Splashman, but again, I'm not too sure. It looked like Splashman appeared from the dark miasma, like how in the last episode Angemon appeared from the light. The light didn't become Angemon, he came from it. Both Greymon and Garurumon are fighting Splashman, but Splashman looks like he's using the dark miasma as a weapon, like acid rain, to attack them. Splashman is a Digimon that uses water-based attacks, so I like how he's absorbing that miasma into his tail and using it as an attack in liquid form. It's working right now. He has both of the partner Digimon on the run. Even Metalgreymon's Metal Claw isn't able to touch him. He's using the miasma as a shield to block attacks, as well as using them to attack. Splashman is awesome, and I know he was on Digimon Cross Wars. I did a theory video on him before that he could possibly be the evil Ken back in Digimon Adventure Tri, because he does have the power to shapeshift. TK starts to climb down because I think he can sense that Angemon's Digi-Egg is down below. Obviously that's not what happens towards the end of the episode, but considering that the island itself is Eldoradomon, Angemon's egg could still be lost down below, and that's what he was feeling. Maybe Angemon was connecting to TK to awaken Eldoradomon to help the team out. The Digidestined and their partner Digimon always have an otherworldly connection that no one can explain, like how in our war game Tai goes from his room to the internet world because of that deep bond between himself and Agumon. The connection between the Digidestined and their partner Digimon always brings about a miracle, as we find out later on in the episode with Metalgreymon and Tai. So this is common. I expect TK to be able to sense if Angemon is down there in the caves. Mimi's mansion is insane, and I'm assuming that's her mansion. She has a tennis court and a garden as big as a park. Again, I'm assuming that's her whole place because her family is rich after all. I like the break from the action because at least we get to see what some of the other characters are doing. Mimi is having breakfast with her family. Joe sees his older brother. His older brother is cool. Even in the original, I remember he was always cool, never scolding him but encouraging him. I remember in the original, Joe was complaining about their dad putting pressure on him to study medicine and to be a doctor. Joe's older brother Jim would inspire him to be his own person by using himself as an example. Jim didn't want to be a doctor in Japan. He wanted to go around the world and help everyone in need. He was always so cool. Joe ends up being like his older brother in Adventure 02 and advises characters like Cody the same way Jim would encourage Joe. So it's nice we get to see an appearance from him in Digimon 2020. The partner Digimon find Calamariumon blocking a communication network of something in the real world. It turned out to be a ship losing all its communication. Guys, I don't think she is part of Devimon's army. I think there's another Digimon who's in charge. Look at the Digimon she's with right now. He looks very familiar, doesn't he? It's of course Algomon. I'm not saying he's in charge, but I truly believe now more than ever that there is one boss Digimon in the network world trying to destroy the real world from the network world, whilst you have Devimon in the digital world with his own plan. Why doesn't Devimon send an army to the real world and start destroying it there? He hasn't done it yet because I don't think that's his plan. He wants to feast the humans, as he mentioned in previous episode. He doesn't want to destroy them, it seems. He's busy going after the Holy Angel Digimon, whereas Algomon is actively trying to destroy the real world from the network world. It's two completely different plans, so I'm certain there's another boss Digimon other than Devimon, if it's not Algomon himself, that the team has to go up against. Splashman got both the ultimate Digimon pinned down to the floor. Guys, do you think the Dark Miasma makes the Digimon being controlled by it stronger? Because I think it does personally. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Giga Destroyer and Kaiser Nil coming at him. Splashman transforms to his liquid form and artfully dodges both those attacks. He then reappears behind WereGarurumon and slices him, turning him back into Gabumon. He's been clawing and biting Metalgreymon, and as a result, Metalgreymon is becoming more darker in skin color. It's the poison effect from the Dark Miasma. The scene where Splashman kept a hold on Metalgreymon's arm and was bashing him constantly, like how Hulk bashed Loki's head in back in the first Avengers film. Look at the size difference. Metalgreymon is a massive Digimon, but he looks like an ant compared to Splashman. Whilst all of this is happening, TK is having an Uncharted level adventure down in the caves. He ends up nearly dying a few times, but our hopeful angel always pulls through. He runs into this massive eyeball behind a gate. How is he not shitting himself? I've been saying how he's been brave. Even in the last episode, he was fearless because he had to be. His older brother was getting bombarded with attacks, so he has to summon the courage within himself. But this is ridiculous. How the hell is he still so composed in front of that giant eyeball, which we know is an eyeball of a giant colossal Digimon? I don't think it's bad, I just find it so funny that he's brave. I'm sure even Tai would be a bit shook if he saw a massive eyeball right in front of him and appear out of nowhere, no less. TK busts out the Digivice and starts pointing it at the eyeball, and you hear this epic choir music playing in the background, and you see Metalgreymon being dragged by Splashman fully unconscious. Even the way Gabumon called his name sounded like as if Metalgreymon has died or something. Then Tai, the brave hero that he is, attempts to lift the jaw of Splashman from Metalgreymon whilst getting the dark burnt mark as well. And he is clearly in pain, but he don't care. He wants to save his partner. Tai gives an epic speech, and for a split second, I thought we were going to see WereGarurumon. The fire comes up and we see Metalgreymon's poisoned arm being replaced by what it looks like a sword that can also transform into a cannon. He used an attack which reminded me of the Spirit Sword attack that Super Vegito used in Dragon Ball Z. He used that attack to finish off Splashman. I'm assuming this is another form of Metalgreymon. I'm happy we saw this because I do want to see other versions of these Digimon, whichever mode they go to. We know we will get the Megas eventually, so in the meantime I don't mind seeing different forms and modes of their ultimate Digimon levels. TK appears with Eldoradomon. Eldoradomon references the lost city of gold, Eldorado. We have Angemon missing, whose Digi-Egg has a bit of gold color as well. So it's nice how they're looking for Angemon as if the Digidestined are looking for treasure in Eldorado. I mentioned earlier that TK was having an Uncharted-like adventure. Eldoradomon is a straight-up reference to the first Uncharted game. It's confirmed by Izzy that Algomon is the one being controlled by Calamariumon, so he's returned to cause even more havoc, and the partner Digimon are trying to stop them in the network world. Guys, another solid episode of Digimon. Let me know your thoughts about the episode down in the comments, and please like the video if you have enjoyed this review, and as always, care for nothing.